We are live. Yeah, it's Sunday 21 already. Sunday 21, October. Team Might. Matt is probably eating some burger. Mike is probably salivating over here.
I am eating.
Yeah. So this weekend we were having a special edition of Weekend Collaboration, where we were expanding. We were continuing with the hackathon on website one. So
Yes.
right now I'm just trying to write some tests, and yeah. So I just added this and this. So for the scenario, given projects drop down, scenario projects drop down should only have active projects. And then given I'm on the events index page, then projects should only have active projects. And then yeah, so I've run that, and I have this guide that I should implement. And I was just trying to figure where I should place it. So features, so steps, events by projects, I think. Features. Step definition.
Yep. Nice.
Feature step. Event instances, event steps.
Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. I mean, it is involving projects, but it's a drop down on the events index page. So
yeah. So probably at the very bottom, since what does this do? Yeah, okay, probably it's this. So I think I'll try. And
so can you go back to the feature file to see what the steps are that you've done so far?
the feature file. It was projects, events by project feature.
Okay.
So
you're on the event index page. Cool. So, why don't you, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to tell you how to do it. But like, what were you thinking? You dropped into binding.pry and you're gonna have it stop there and ask it some questions.
I think I just did that by default, but then there's this this scenario. Show index of events, and then if I select all from drop down, so I'm probably going to see what this does.
So so I was going to suggest, you can definitely go see what that does in the step definitions. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Good idea.
Then
there's also that copybar cheat sheet that you'll probably want to open at some point.
Yeah. So select page.select project ID. So so they have this thing here. But how is this asserting anything? Oh, this is just selecting. When I select, yeah, capybara cheat sheet. So
So what did you find from that drop down?
I found this page to select project name. So probably what I want to do, I want to get the projects to be
Well, before you do that,
yeah.
go to the production site.
To the
Production site. And go to the events index page. And then, so you're talking about that drop down right there. Why don't you like right click on that and inspect it?
The name is project ID.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you, so like, yeah. And then if you, I guess, so if you go to the, if you go to the capybara cheat sheet, like, and then like maybe, I'm not sure if it's selectors, where is it? I think it's like under, maybe it's under interacting with the matches, other features, scripting, scoping, page, debugging, Ajax, page object, poltergeist, backlist.
Selenium.
Yeah. So I didn't see it on a first pass, but doesn't mean it's not there. I mean, let me see. You could do like you could search the page for select. Well, not this page, the browser, the cheat sheet. You know, you have that, like, so you have that template that you grabbed from the other thing that's like page.select blah 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 from project ID. Right, there you go. So you can see there. That's how you can use Capybara to interact with drop downs, right? You have select option from
Select box.
Looking, you know, trying to base what you're doing off of. It was like select all from project ID. So project ID is going to be the ID of the Dropbox, right? Now you can try to combine that maybe with scope. Do you know?
Scope?
Yeah, like can you search that page for scope? Scoping. Yeah. So you see there?
Yeah.
They have like a within, and then they have like ID delivery do, and then they do some stuff, you know. In this case, they do fill in, but then, you know, you can do something that's appropriate for what you're trying to do, you know?
Yeah. So how? Okay.
So what are you trying to do?
So I want to see if certain select fields are in the select, like certain names are within the select.
Yeah, exactly. So how can you look for content like
To have?
Like it's the same as when you were looking for movie titles on a page, right?
Yeah.
So do you remember what the syntax for that is?
Expect page to have.
Yeah. Expect page to have text or expect page to have content, and then you put what you expect it to have. And you know, so in some cases a movie title, in other cases is a project name, right?
Yeah,
So
but
the thing that doing the scoping allows you to do is that you can check that it's within certain parameters, right? Like you don't want to search the entire page, right? Because if you search the entire page, you're probably going to have more than you know. I don't know. Maybe in this case you wouldn't, or maybe you would. But the point is that you could have many different movie titles in the entire page, because you have a drop down with movie titles, you have a table with movie titles, you have like whatever, like those kind of things. So by scoping it, you can make sure that you're testing that it's actually with where you want to be looking for it. So in this case, you want to verify that the drop down has like the certain, you know.
Yeah, I understand.
So you can kind of like combine those two things, I think.
Okay. So
no, stop that. Stop it.
All right. You're muted, Mike.
yeah, that's lots of nice from my side. So.
Yeah, no worries. I was just asking, why are you doing the logic in the test? Like the logic for them to limit the projects, because then you're not actually testing anything, really. Well, I don't know if maybe that's not true, but the idea is that when the task goes to your index page, your events index page, it's going to hit the events controller index method, and it's going to filter the projects or the events. No, it's going to filter the projects by active projects, assign that to an instance variable, and then it's going to pass that instance variable to your view, right?
Matt, sorry, I was mute.
Yeah.
So does it mean that I can access that class variable from here?
I mean, you might be able to, but I'm not sure why you're trying to access that class variable, that instance variable.
Yeah, because I want to get all the active projects and do a .each on them here. Then within here, I write the expect. Maybe I'll do pluck. Title. Then I'll expect the then when I write my when I was it expect page to have? You said I could reuse that. I could use that here.
Yeah, I think so. You always have a prize session. You can.
So this is what I was thinking. I don't know if it makes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I get what you're doing.
Then I can have the same here. So where status is inactive.
So we were seeing the other day on that cheat sheet that it's better to say to have no content. I was thinking that you were going to let your method, in the index, do the work of filtering it, and then you were just gonna check to see if if those projects that are created are in the dropdown. Like, I don't know.
I didn't get what you said.
I didn't think you were gonna. I didn't think that you're going to do another database query to grab, because you're kind of doing the same thing in your index controller as you are doing in your test.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, not that that's wrong. I don't know if it's.
Okay, I think it's not clear. What are you saying?
You're doing the same logic in the test where you query the database and you grab just the active projects as you're doing your index. So you're doing it in the controller, and then when you visit the page, like in this testing environment, you already have a filtered list of projects.
Yeah.
Right. But then you're coming in this test and you're querying the database twice, and grabbing all the active projects and then checking to see if the page has that content, and then you're querying the inactive. Like I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just like, I thought you would just like, because you only have how many projects are you actually creating?
Are they even created? I'm not sure, but
yeah.
In the features,
yeah.
Shows that this
feature.
There are like 4 projects.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I don't know if you really need to. I mean, do how you think is best. Like, I thought you would just like maybe check to see if the one of the active ones was there and one of the inactive ones was not. And then you don't need like database queries.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do. I think like checking that all of the active projects there maybe has some benefit.
Yeah. So
it seems like we're almost testing like that database query method, and it's like I feel like that database query has its own like tests.
Yes, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think that makes. I think I got the idea from what we did.
Yeah, we did that the other day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I think like I thought that was a really good idea actually, because we're actually testing to see if the sorting is actually working. Yeah. So I mean, maybe it's probably a good idea here as well. I wasn't following you at first.
Okay.
Like.
Maybe I just run it and see.
Yeah, run it and see what happens. See what happens, mate. I think you changed the name
of the test.
Yeah. You updated it in the feature and didn't update it in the. Oh no.
I think it's the correct one. Okay. I think they're confused.
Yeah, it's weird.
0 scenario, 0 steps. Is this not for 40?
No, because that's the event steps.
Oh,
you want to rerun the one on 33? Yeah.
So expect page to have also works on selects. I thought selects sometime have hidden stuff. So
Hey.
yeah. So maybe if I maybe probably the only advantage I have here will be like maybe
Hey,
it's
Dan.
dry. Hey. So maybe it will be dry such that when I add another project here which is inactive, I don't have to go back there and do the writing. So project X. So
Yeah.
project X is,
Although I'm not sure if there's like, I mean, maybe there is like, but why would you don't, I don't know if you want to be adding like additional projects that need to be created in the test database if there's not a specific reason why.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if it had a different status than inactive, then that might be a reason to add it. But like, what would be the point of adding a project X with status inactive? I mean, I don't know, maybe just to test to see if it shows more than one inactive project. But like, you don't ever want to show inactive projects. So you're just gonna be doing negative assertions on that. And like, I think in general, doing negative assertions that you can't see something on a page is not typically a good idea unless there's like a specific reason why.
Yeah.
So I mean, you might want to be adding projects that are like have different statuses, for example, than inactive or active. But then in that case, you would maybe do something where instead of like doing another database query to look for the inactive projects, you would do one database query to look for all the active ones.
Yeah.
And then you would do like a project.all, and you would deduct the project or the active projects from the project.all, and then you would have all other projects.
Yeah.
And then you would, I don't know, and you would make sure that you can't see like project X that has a status of dead or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Or closed, because like closed is one thing that actually does exist in the production database. There's like projects that are closed. So instead of having two inactive ones that you're going to do kind of the same negative assertion that you can't see it, you could like do one that says closed, and then you could like, yeah, you could check that you can see active ones, but you can't see any ones with any other status, whether it's closed or whether it's inactive or whether it's pizza or whatever else it is that you could imagine, because it's a string. You just have ones that match the active criteria.
Okay, but then could there be another test that only active and inactive projects are created, or do we not depend on that?
No, we don't depend on that, because the production, like I just said, the production database has closed projects, for example.
Okay.
So we wouldn't run a test that would like, it would fail on that, you know. Like the other thing as well, like that, I mean, you're writing a test, but the thing that you're testing for is, I'm not sure if we're testing exactly for what because like the way that you query the database in the index controller of the advanced index controller is different than the way you query it in the test environment.
Yeah, I think it's different. Because I think it's only the sort that have not done.
Well, yeah, no, I guess I wasn't talking about this. I was thinking that you're searching for the status. One of the statuses is like with a capital A, and the other one's with lowercase.
I changed everything to have lowercase.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Yeah. So that was in events controller.
Index, yeah, cool.
Yeah. So it's another sort that I don't have.
I guess, like, Dan, do you know anything about like I'm wondering like what would, is there a what the difference is and which one would be better to use between like sort and like order in ascending or order in descending, you know? Can you go back to the events controller, Mike?
Well, I think when we saw that order, that was kind of like a parameter that we passed in, whereas sort is like a method, right? So we have sort here.
Like a database query.
Yeah, but maybe with a sort, it's possible this sort method right here. So we have project where, so it's doing the database query, right?
Yeah.
And then we have dot sort, right? So
I think it's like querying the database and then it's calling a method sort on that, and like then it's sorting it based on the title. Whereas I think if you use where and then order, you're just doing like you're querying the database to return like to return a list that has two different like parameters to it. So like the database would return the list then the list would be ready. Whereas this is returning a list and then we're manipulating the list after it's been returned. Does that sound right? Or
maybe possibly. I don't know. Like
I mean, I think that is right, but I'm not sure if there's any benefit to like doing one way or the other. Like I'm trying to think if like I would make the hypothesis that maybe having the database return an ordered list would be faster, because it's already returning the list, and I think it knows how to return an ordered list. Like,
okay,
I don't know.
So like here I'll have.
So it looks like the order might be. So look, if you look at the order in that show definition, that show method, it's got it's just going by the like one of the parameter like created at.
Yeah.
Whereas the sort, it's like it's using that what do you call it? The double rocket, the double-headed rocket thing.
Yeah. It's comparing the like it.
So it looks like order might just be kind of like the same thing, only it allows you to define your own ordering.
So they're saying order is executed by your RDBMS and will generate
Execute by
null values. You can even specify where you want to put the null values, and by adding null first, the order by clause. Then
it says order is quicker, and it's enough in most cases. But sometimes you need sort by the next comment.
Yeah,
because sort by is more like a custom thing.
Yeah, and like I think since you're already doing a database query, like I normally like you. It's quite common, like even on that events. I didn't see that before, but even here on this events controller, you can see like you very it's very common to see like a where query followed by an order, you know?
Yeah.
And then also like, did you change the projects in the new method and not in the edit method on purpose, or was that just kind of an oversight? Or
So the edit method, yeah, I didn't see that.
because you remember that like the new and the edit method.
How can I have this at one place so that I just reuse it?
I mean, that would be great, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good question. I think like what you could do maybe is you could create a yeah, like you're starting to get to the place where I would say like you could create a scope in the events, like that's like active projects or something like that. And then it's kind of like would be similar to a class method where you can just call like you can, say add projects equals.
So in the event model?
Yeah. You see how like I think at the top of the event model you have some scopes already? Or no? No. So go to the project model.
Project model.
Yeah. You see how you have scopes starting on line 25 and line 26 as well? Oh, so you do have like, oh, so that's the thing. You already do, yeah. So for project, you already have a scope for this, So instead of doing it like this, where you're kind of like reinventing the wheel, you can just use that, You can just do project.active.
But then it doesn't sort.
It doesn't, but you could maybe add that.
So that will mean I will add it everywhere that I'm calling project.active.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so can I just have it here already?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like you could.
And then this like. So,
I mean, I think it's just a different way of doing the same thing you did, Mike. So I think since you already have the scope, maybe it's not worth changing. Like just reuse what you already have, And if you want it to be an ordered list, then maybe you should order it and just see if that's going to cause problems elsewhere. I mean, maybe there's, I mean, you could search for like do a global search for like project .active and see when that's being called. But I mean, I would assume that it's just going to return a list of active projects, and I can't think of any reason why you would be like against having an ordered project list. But also as well, you don't have there's nothing that says we need to that we need it to be in alphabetical order. Like you could just say project.active and then put in a PR, Oh, you've already put in a PR, but like. Or you could, yeah, I mean, either way.
like I didn't get your last point, but I'm assuming that you're saying I could just have these as project.active.order right here.
You could do that, but you don't need to do that. Like if you do that, then you're gonna have the same situation where you're calling .order title in 3 different places in the controller.
Yeah.
So then you need to start asking yourself, like you did, is there a way of extracting this? So one way of extracting it would be to add it to the scope, so that it returns an ordered active list. but then you showed some concern for that making changes to other places in the site that maybe we don't want to change. And I was saying, I don't think that anybody would care if wherever else that's being used is an ordered list. But I also don't think that it needs to be an ordered list either. Like, you know, I mean,
I think it needs to be ordered so that when it appears here,
it's easier to find.
yeah, it has some sanity. Yeah. Like, you don't want to find A, then B, then Z. Like, it's like you don't want to find Y ahead of.
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not? I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
So then I guess if that's the logic, then I guess there's probably nowhere else in the site that you could argue that you want it to be, you specifically want it to be unordered. So like, yeah, this project.active doesn't look like it's being used anywhere.
It's used project of active with you GitHub.
Oh, there you go. Okay. And so that's the only place it's being used.
Yeah.
And I think that it doesn't matter if it's ordered and then it goes and calls the with GitHub URL. Yeah. I mean, it could matter, but I seriously doubt it. And you have a test for that. Like, that's the GitHub commits job. So you could like change the active scope to be ordered, and then you can run that test. And if that doesn't fail, then you can assume that it's okay if it's an ordered list. I mean, that list there, they probably didn't make it ordered because nobody sees that list. So now that you're trying to reuse that scope where people will see it, I think it makes more sense for you to add it to order the scope, you know?
So how do I order the scope?
I mean, yeah, just the same way that you did in the controller. You can call a method. No, I wouldn't call it there because that's outside the scope, right? Yep, exactly.
Sorry, it's kind of off topic, but what is the arrow in these scopes? What is that? Is that an operator in Ruby, or is that like a real thing?
It's a lambda, like I think it's unnamed lambda or something lambda. Unnamed lambda. Is it unnamed?
That's the block. A block is an unnamed lambda, isn't it?
No.
No.
Or maybe, or am I thinking proc? It's a stabby lambda is what it's called.
A stabby?
Stabby, yeah. And the operator is called the stab operator.
Okay.
And let's see.
I think stabby with an
A. What's that?
Stabby.
You're saying stabby with an A, right?
What's the difference between stab and stub? Is it just American?
No, stab is like stab is like you can take a knife and stab someone.
Yeah.
One way. And with a U, stub is like when you don't want to use like a real object, but you want to use a stub of it, you know? Or, you know, it can be different things as well. I guess like you can have like stub can be if you don't have like a full hand, you just have like your arm just ends with like, you know, it's like you get your arm cut off and you have a stub for an arm. It can be like it can be on a ticket. You can have a stub for a ticket. But like in the case of coding, stub is like, yeah, similar to a mock, but yeah. I don't know. I need to read that thing that Faith sent us about the exact difference. But like, if you want to stub, like, you know, you don't want to create the, like, I think you stub network interactions because you don't want to actually send a request to the API. You just want to stub the request so you can control the information that you get back.
Yeah.
So foo2.call. Huh. So it's like basically like you can define it once for every object, and like that's the lambda that whenever you do call the method call on the object, then it's gonna do that. Is that
Well, so that
that's
it
what it
takes in
looks
an
like?
argument. Yeah. Like in this case, it takes in an argument, but it doesn't necessarily have to take in an argument. But then,
Yeah.
you can call it like you can. So, for example, like Mike, if you go back to the code, there was the search by language as well. Like, so you have two examples there. Like on 25, it doesn't take any arguments. On 26, it does. And on line 26, that was that used to be a class method. Like I wrote it as a class method, and then like at the start of this sprint, I think, or right before the sprint, I was learning about scopes in the advanced course, week 1 of the advanced course, and part of the homework was to write a scope for something random. And then I was like, instead of doing that, I want to just convert a class method in website 1 into a scope. And so I converted that class method search by language into a scope. And so that's that. So you can see that it's like being called like a class method, right? Like project with a capital P dot active means that it's like, yeah, it's being called on the class instead of like it being an instance method, which is like called on an instance of the class.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, yeah, it can, or like it's optional whether you pass in an argument or not. And then like, if you do pass in an argument, then like, so for example, that scope active, like if you could be like, you could call it like scope status, and then you could pass in an argument status, and then you could like use that same scope to search for all different kinds of projects with different statuses. So you could like you would pass in the search term, which like in our case would be active, but it, in the future could be closed, for example. And then when you call that, you just pass in whatever status you want to look for, and then it'll query the database for that specific status.
Yeah. So do I do the same, because I'm also querying for inactive projects?
Well, you're not. You're if like you're trying to, in your test case you are, but in your test case that wouldn't, whatever you have written here, it doesn't matter like in that case, I guess, because you're not actually displaying those inactive projects anywhere. You're just saying you want to make sure they're not displayed, which means that you could, as long as you're calling this project.active in your controller, then it's going to return just the active projects, and it's not going to care about any of the other ones. So, I mean, I don't know if there's a reason, like, it doesn't seem like now there would be a reason to implement that, but that's how you could implement it, like, so that it would look more like the one on line 26, where you pass in the search parameters, and then it says like, status I like, and then, question mark. And then inside of that, it would look for, actually, that's not even a good scope, actually. That actually might not work. See if your test is still passing, because what that scope is looking for is it's looking for any status that has the substring active, but inactive has the substring active. So inactive projects would be returned as well.
I was almost asking that. I think I asked when I was on mute. Yeah. Because I was seeing this I like and active, so I think maybe.
Well, it's actually, there's a really easy fix for that. But like, see if it's delete that, and then see if it's failing your test, like after you change the index, Okay. Because like in your test, you're looking through and looking for the string inactive, and then you're making sure that doesn't appear in the drop. the drop down, but the drop down is being created by this index action. So
Moment of truth.
yeah, let's see. I think that this will fail. And I think that like that's interesting that it's being used in the GitHub commits job, because I mean maybe they did that on purpose, but if they did, then that's really confusing about the name of the scope, because it leads you to believe that they want to return only active projects, right?
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. See?
Yeah. Project X.
What about the other one, though? You have 2 inactive projects, don't you?
There's one inactive and one
Closed.
one closed.
Let me see.
Where is that? Event steps, no.
No, it's features.
Features.
You can probably close that user list, no? That you're not using.
I'm not using you. Did I change you?
I don't know. I don't know if you changed it on purpose. I don't think so.
No.
Oh, is this the? Yeah, that's the one you were just. Yeah. Wow, so that's interesting. I wonder what the ramifications for that. I mean, we could change it and then we can run the. Well, yeah. Let's see.
The controller.
What are you doing? Lots of tabs open. You're worse than me. Okay, so one's closed. Yeah. You have one inactive and one closed. Yeah, so yeah. Does that make sense why it's failing?
Yeah.
So do you know how to change it to get it to pass?
Yeah. So dot where? So project.rb. Like so?
Yeah. Well, try it.
Do I need this comma? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I think this will work, but that's not what I was thinking. But I think this will work. I mean, we kind of know it works because that's exactly what you wrote in the test, right?
Yeah.
But like then I'm not sure if there's a benefit to writing it that other way, where status I like whatever. But you can get it to work with.
But why does it say I don't have?
I think it's starting on a different line now.
Okay.
But it seems like you just ran that a minute ago and it ran. Oh, it's because you didn't save the page after you just saved the page after you added that closed. Yeah. So then if you're going to add that closed there, then I think you will need to change your database query to use the way that I was thinking of using, instead of using the way you've put it in there.
Yeah.
Because so if you go back to this, like you look on line 28, line 28 is looking for specifically that search term, not like substrings of that search term, right?
Okay.
And it's written kind of the same, except for the difference is that inside of the quotes, there's no percentage signs at the beginning and the end. when you put the percentage signs, you can put them there if you wanted to, but or you can go back to the way it was on line 25, and you can just remove the percentage signs and then run your test again.
Which percentage signs are you talking about?
So go back to the way it was on line 25. Okay. So now, no, not all the way back, like that. Okay. So now you see where those percentage signs, remove those and run your test again. And now this should not look for substrings of active. It should look for only active.
Yep. That passed. Oh, not yet.
No, hasn't started yet. It's a bit slow to get going. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be like, I mean, I'm not, you know, there, I don't know if there'd be benefits of one way or the other. I think like if you, I don't know, because like that closed one, yeah, that wouldn't matter for the closed one either, because you need to. I need to go soon, but if you go back to your the step that you wrote. Like the other thing that I was thinking of doing is that, well, I don't know, I guess it's okay like this. Yeah, I mean, you could do what I was suggesting if you want to look for more than inactive, you know, because like right now you're creating a project that has a status of closed, but you're not doing anything with it.
Yeah.
So like you could like write another third database query. And I think like you could do like on line 441, you could do a database query looking, but instead of doing that project.where status active, you could do project.active and save that to a variable, something like active projects or something, you know? And then you could do like on the next line, you could do all other projects or something, or like non-active projects, whatever makes sense to you to call it. Oh, actually, no, you would need to do all projects or yeah, no, you could do it there. No, you could do it there. Sorry. And then what would that be equal to? Yeah, exactly. No. I mean, yeah, I guess you could do that. Like instead of having two variables, that's probably actually better. Yeah, that's actually better because you're not going to use that active projects variable anywhere, are you? Just you could use it here, but then what would be the point of that, really? Yeah. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry, I'm making noises for no reason. Yeah, you could do that, or you could do like you could get rid of line 442 and just do project.active, you know? But wait, is that going to work? No, that's not going to work because then you do want to use that active. You do want to use that active projects because you want to iterate over the active projects and you want to, sorry. Yeah. you want to iterate over those active projects later, you know? So yeah, just do that minus active projects. Yeah. And then now you can get rid of those database queries. Yeah. Yep. Nice.
Or I could just get rid of this and have it here.
Yeah, but then you would need to have it twice. But yeah, you could do that. You could do it once on line 446 and once on line 443. Yeah, that would work.
Can I have this here?
I mean, you might be able to, but I don't think it would look very good.
Yeah.
But if you don't agree, you could, yeah.
It doesn't look good.
I mean, I guess it's a matter of taste. Some people would say it doesn't look good to have extra lines just to assign things to variables. But I think that it's easier for, you know, you're missing an underscore from line 448. But I think like, and also like I don't know about Dan, but I would call it, instead of not active, I would call it non-active, like with the N-O-N.
And probably need that one as well.
Yeah. I think like the thing that helps with having like local variables is that it can make it obvious what you're doing. Like, so even like project.active, I think is pretty clear, but maybe project.all minus project.active is not as clear. Like someone might have to think about it. Like, and then like if you have non-active projects, it's like maybe a little bit clearer, but I don't know.
You'll have to change the not active projects in the line 443 to non-active too.
I'm copy pasting the same thing here. Well, you're saying line?
443? Yeah. Yep.
So do we need to have?
And then I guess if you're going to make that into a variable, you would probably want to change line 443 as well. Because there's no reason for you to do a database query more than once. I guess that would be a benefit as well, right? If you save it to that local variable, it does the database query one time, and then just reuses that list many different times. Whereas if you do it the other way, then it would call it on line 443 and then call it again on line 446.
What if I just do? I make it this.
Yeah, you could do that.
But now I will have to do.
And then also, I guess.
Mommy. Mommy.
Yeah, I think it changes the landscape.
Punga. Punga.
Fine.
I mean, you could do that as well. Like, there's nothing that keeps you from doing that, because you can. Well. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah, I see what you mean. And then I guess on line 449, there's no reason to have that in parentheses anymore, is there?
Yeah. Yep. So I tried that out.
Yeah, see if it's still passing the test, you know. I mean, we expected it's going to, right? Because we haven't changed that much.
Mm.
We're just kind of using the same logic in a different way. Hey, woo!
Yeah. So I probably need to write the same for the edit page and the.
Well, the edit and the new are on the same form, right? Because edit and new use like a form partial. So like it's just the only difference, the reason you need to put it in both places is because because it's being passed from like the new controller to the new index, and then that new index is calling the form partial and passing that list to the form partial. And whereas when you do the edit, it's the the same thing but with the edit, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same drop down. So if there is a place already that has like some tests about the form and what you expect to find on the form, then you can just add it there, you know. Have you looked for an acceptance test for the events form?
Nope. So that will go in the feature. Then events. Edit feature events. Edit post events. I don't think they're testing the form specifically.
Yeah. Okay, event, start event, show event, repeating event, private events, next scrum, live event, list repeating events, past events, events video, events countdown. Edit past events, no. Edit future events, create events. So maybe in the create events, there would be, you could add something, because create events is like the, showing that you can go there and you can fill out certain information and you can choose like, I drop down the events menu, I click on upcoming events, or I don't know, there might be something in there that like says I click on the projects drop down and then you could add something in there like I see only active events or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, they don't have a given for.
Yeah, look, go back. You see on line 53, I select EDX from the event project dropdown, So that's like, so they're testing the dropdown from here. So, maybe you could just create a new scenario that's like, that says something like, copy and paste the other scenario, I guess, pretty much. Except for like, instead of being on the events index page. Oh yeah, look there. Yeah, project should be ordered alphabetically. Yeah, perfect. So in that you should just be, then you can just add project should be active and ordered alphabetically. So you didn't even need to do that, Oh yeah, you could, yeah, exactly. And the projects drop down should only, Well, not the whole thing. No, just line 56. Because you're already on the right page. It seems like. So then go back there, and then instead of like like in between lines 80 and 81.
Matt,
Yep.
but this only tells in the events create event page.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. The create events page is the events form.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you want to test the new and the edit, it looks like you have to put them in 2 different files. But since you have both files already that are testing certain things, instead of having a scenario that say projects should be ordered alphabetically, I mean, I guess I haven't followed that logic through. Like, I should be on the event show page for whatever. I should see, oh, okay, so create a new event. No, so not there. It's like starting on line 83, create a new event for a different project. Or I'm not sure. Yeah, create a new event for premium mob members. Logged in. I'm on the event index page. Yeah, I click on new event. Okay. I'm on the event index page. I click on new event. Yeah, go down. Create a new event with those descriptions. I select EDX. I should not see like. I mean, before I select EDX, you could put that there maybe. I'm not sure. But I don't know. Maybe there's not events that are created in the database at this point, you know? Yeah, I don't think that's going to work because I think at that point you're not on I don't think you're on the creation form. Because you've followed it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you are. It just says I should see EDX before blah, 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 but it doesn't say if that's on a list or if that's in the dropdown. Is the dropdown in the form alphabetical? No, it wasn't before, was it? That's on production.
Yes, it's ordered in production.
Okay, but that's index, right? That's not the same dropdown.
Events page. Oh, you want the create event dropdown?
I mean, yeah, that's where we're. No, project.
Yeah, it is.
So it is, yeah. That's weird. Like, where was the logic that made that sorted?
But then there are these other things like this.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, but
Where
those will go away.
You better see.
Is there any logic for this in the views by any chance? Because like it just said project all right when you changed it, and now you've changed it to return an ordered active list. But like where is this in the can you go to the forms in the code?
The forms.
Yeah, event app views. Oh, you passed it. Views.
Events.
Yep. Form. So where is it using at projects?
So I look for project ID.
Yeah. So look, it's collecting. No, I don't think it's project ID, is it? It's at project. Yeah. So that's collecting and sorting. Yeah. So this shouldn't have logic here, you know?
Yeah.
So I think maybe you should delete that logic and then, well, not here, but I think it's the same in the index page. So maybe go to the index page.
Index page here.
Yeah. And then where's the at projects being used here? There. So yeah, delete that sort by. And then run your test again. Make sure they're still passing. It might, I mean, they might not be because now you're only returning the title. It seems like. Or no? Or are you returning the whole project? No, you're returning the whole project.
The whole project, but
You're not plucking in this
no,
case.
I'm not, no.
So then this should still pass. And then, yeah, you know, that's one other job is like to go all these places where you're extracting the logic and putting it in the place where the logic should live. You need to be kind of going back and cleaning up the views because we don't want any of the logic in the views, you know?
Yeah.
So now you can do the same thing for the form so that it removes the logic from the, yeah. Yeah, like remove all, yeah, there. And then the only thing is that it's collecting the ID. So I'm not sure if it's using that. So maybe you want to just collect the title and ID. I'm not sure. I mean, that logic shouldn't be there. So if you do need that for some reason, sorry?
What does collecting do?
It's gonna do a query and just return the title and the ID instead of returning the entire object. Like you see there, it has the P stands for project. So it's gonna iterate over all the projects, right? It's like collect is the same as map. It's like an alias for map. Yeah. So it's gonna go in and it's gonna iterate over all of the projects, and each project at a time it's gonna assign to the local variable P, and then it's gonna grab a list. It's going to return in this case an array of the project title and then the project ID. So it's going to be like it's going to return an array of arrays that have the project title with their ID, right? So you might actually need that logic, but the point is that you don't want that logic here. You want to so that's something different about the index and the new like in your controller is that apparently they want that information. So you might want to like run the test for the create project, for example, like save that file, run the create projects thing again, make sure the test still passes.
You said the test. I saved it.
Oh, okay, cool. You're fast. So then, yeah, run that test for the create events.
This is event by project, but now you want me to run
create events. Yep. They all pass? Oh no, they haven't run yet. Slow.
Yeah. Problem with my marker, maybe.
Let's get shot, eh?
Baby, unafanya nini? No. No. Later. Yeah, they all passed. And now
so yeah, so now you want to try to extract that logic and you can probably write it in a better way, but like extract that logic into the controller.
Yep.
Just you want to leave the app projects there, you know.
Yeah.
But then yeah, exactly. Yeah, cool.
So event controller. So do I have it in the do I have it in the this or in the this, or do I just add it to our projects? No, that will not be good.
So is the index method gonna render that form?
No.
Okay. So then that answers the
But
question.
it will. Okay, yeah. So edit.
So where renders the form? Yeah. Edit. Yep. And where else renders the form?
Create.
So you don't have that variable in the create method. So well, actually, you do there at the bottom, but yeah, that's a bit strange. I mean, I would, yeah. So yeah, I guess you're gonna. That's another place that you found that you might need to change, but you haven't changed that yet. So just maybe leave that alone. Or yeah, or add active if you want. Yes.
But this will will this generate event creator service? This is an event creator service.
I think it's probably a service that creates an event.
So do we not have to create an event? Then this.
Yeah, so I think what you're finding is that there's several different places that you haven't seen yet that you need to that you would need to fix if you want to have like the functionality that you want, where these drop downs will only show active events, right? But there's a method that you've already been working with that is going to render the form, right? Like if you think about when you create a new form, like or when you create a new event, you go there and you click on what button?
If you want to create an event,
if you want to create an event for AV,
new.
Exactly. So where's the new method? When you click on the button new, it's gonna take you to the new method, right?
The form, yeah. So I think it's still gray for me. Why can't I get this thing so fast?
So you're in the private methods. Like go to the top of the controller, right?
Yeah.
Top of the controller. There you go. So the first thing you see is the new one, right? And on line 8, you have changed that. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one place that so what's going to happen is when you click that new button, it's going to come to this method new, right? And then it's going to create a new instance of the method of the event, right? Then it's going to set the repeat end string, and then it's going to set this at projects, and then what that's going to do is that's going to pass it on to the new view, right? The index.html.erb. Not index, sorry, the new .html.erb, right? So then in the left in your tree, go there to new.html.erb. Okay, so this is going to come here and it's going to say render form, right? So then it's going to go to the form partial, and then it's going to encounter the thing that you just changed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I go back to the controller.
Event controller.
So after you get done filling out the form, you're gonna hit the button that's like says save or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so that's gonna come and bring you to the create, and then that's gonna call that's gonna create a new instance of the event creator service, which we don't have to understand completely what that does. It's gonna pass in event like the model event, and then it's gonna perform. It's gonna call the perform method, which is like probably a class method. Yeah, it's a class method on the event creator service, and that's gonna transform the params, which we don't need to check what it's gonna do yet. And if that's successful, then it's gonna save the event to a instance variable event, and it's gonna say event created, and then it's going to redirect you to the show page for that event, right?
Yeah.
If it fails, it's going to save the event to a event instance so that you don't lose all the things that you did. And then it's going to tell you this didn't save because it didn't pass the validations. And then it's going to save all the projects to, well, in this case, now it's going to save the active projects to the project's instance variable.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so I think that this would probably, if you're going to make the change in one of them, you probably need to make it in all of them. But then, you might start asking yourself the question, like, why is there so many different places where we have this instance variable project with the exact same information, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you go back to the very top, like, I mean, I guess at this point we probably should run that test to make sure it's still passing. But you see there, like, we have like a before action. Yeah. You can put the test around, and then I can explain what I was going to say. So hopefully this is not going to fail because you're just testing the new form.
Yeah. The create form.
You're not testing the edit yet. So go back to the controller. So you see there we have before actions. So one of the things we do is like we authenticate the user unless they're going to the index or the show pages, right? Mm-hmm. So if they want to create an event, they need to be authenticated user. So if they're not an authenticated user, it's going to tell them to sign in, right?
Yeah.
So the other thing is that before actions, we set the event, which we only do on the show page, the edit page, the update or the methods, show, edit, update, destroy, and update only URL, right? Mm. So search for that set event on this page. Two found. So there's one there and there's one there. There. So we have this here that we say before you do those actions, set the event, which grabs event.friendly.find by the params ID and saves that to an instance variable event, right?
Yeah.
So the reason we do that, like, if you've done like some beginner Rails courses and stuff, like at the beginning, you just write that one line on 119. You write that before all of your actions in your, like, if you look in your routes, there are certain actions that require the ID, right? Like if you're telling the browser, show me the event with the ID of 1. Then you need to first find the event with ID of 1, right? So the ID is necessary for the show page, right?
Yes. And
same thing if you want to edit it. Like if you want to edit a specific event, you need to know which event that you want to edit. Whereas like the index page, you're just listing all the events, right?
Yeah.
So you could do something similar where you say before action, set projects, and then you could like create a new private method called set projects. And you could set that to, project.active. Something like that, you don't, I mean.
But could there be places where they just want the project, but they don't want the
Where they want different information from like, yeah, for sure. There's for example, on the index page, you are just saying you want all the active projects,
Yeah.
right? And then on all the other places like new and edit and update and create and all those other places, you're saying that you want a collection of that involves like an array of subarrays. But yeah, I don't know if I'd use, yeah, maybe you could use accept. Yeah, I guess it depends on how many you're going to use it on and how many you're not going to use it on. But
Yeah. So
so you want it on new, you don't want it on show, right? Show, you don't care about projects. You want it on index, but you don't want the collection. So you don't want it on index. So that's 2.
I changed to only
Okay.
new and
New, edit, update, create. Yep.
so we'll go.
Yeah, you're missing a space in between the after the colon and in between the start of the, yeah. Cool. And is that the only ones you need it on? I guess we can check in a minute. And I don't think I would call it set project, right? Because it's not a single project where like set event is a single event, right? Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's kind of same thing. Like it's not a single project. And also like the idea is that you would just grab one of those that you already have and just copy it and paste it into here and then delete all the other ones, you know?
yeah, but in the form they use project.
I'm not sure, but you're not, I don't think you want to,
Okay.
I don't think you need to worry about that. You're just trying to set the projects for the drop down, right?
Yeah.
So the point is that we have a place where we have all the same information that we have written the same way. I mean, yeah, it's easier if you just copy and paste it, you know, because now you're going to collect what? And you need to delete those anyways, right? You don't want to leave those where they are. So like if you just copy, like on line 43, if you just do Control X on that whole thing and then Control V on the other one, then you already have gotten rid of that one, and now you just need to delete the other ones, you know?
Like, oh yeah.
Although I don't know, you know, I'm not sure how it
Yeah,
works on
hold
that
on.
one because that's only on failure, but no, like delete that as well.
No, you need projects still there.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. But there's a trailing curly brace.
Yeah.
There's a trailing curly brace. Yeah.
Don't need that.
No, and there's not, now there's trailing white spaces. You need it. You just need it where from the stuff that you cut, not from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you need a curly brace and a space between the, yeah, I would do that as well. Nice. That's a lot better. Project, yeah. Project ID. And then give it a space in between. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Cool. So now maybe delete that in the other places.
I can delete all of this.
Yeah.
Keep the projects, right?
No, you don't need.
Oh no. Right.
I mean, I don't even think you need on that failure one either, actually, because if it, yeah, I don't think you need it on the failure one either. Do you? Like, because you're setting the projects, and like, if it's a success, you're just not going to use it. But if it's a failure, you still have it.
Mm.
I mean, we're going to need to run the test, you know. I'm sure, like, so if you, there's probably a test for that, maybe. I'm not sure. Or maybe there's
I
not.
need to run all the tests. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. You could do that. Yeah. That'll take a minute, but. And then, yeah, I'm not sure, like, that whole collecting what is the ID actually being used for in that? I think it's being passed through. I think it's being passed through in the params, so that when you create it, the event has like a project ID.
Yeah. So like the value is the project ID.
Yeah. I just wonder, because it would be nice to be able to refactor that collect down to, like, if it was just one thing you needed, like the ID, you can use that, like where you can use parentheses and then use the that ampersand and colon with the ID, and that looks better than that big long block.
I think plug can work as well.
Yeah, it definitely works. It's just longer, you know.
Like plug, you just do dot plug title and ID.
Yeah, but can you pluck? You'd have to call pluck twice, no? Or can you?
Yeah, you can have the two comma separated.
Oh yeah, but will that pluck? But will that return exactly the same thing that this is returning, which is like a array of subarrays?
Okay, maybe I don't understand what it returns.
Don't think I can. Será?
Sim, vê se você consegue parar. Porque eles vão por aqui, desses famosos, só coisa
Boa.
junto.
Sim.
Isso é legal, viu?
Mas que horas eles vão estar aqui?
Manda mensagem pra Cigane, eu vou falar pra ela falar com você. Durante a
Porque
semana eu vou falar com ela.
até tipo 2 da tarde é difícil. Mas daí depois isso.
¿Cómo estás?
Viu? Perguntou, velho.
Ah, estou bem. Yeah. So far so good, right?
Yeah, it looks good.
And I mean, like, this is what we're doing here is not so much different than what we've already kind of been practicing in the CS 169.
Yeah.
It's just the only difference is like you get to see on a real project, you know, and then you go looking at things and you go, wait a minute, I thought putting the logic in the views was a bad idea, and then you can go, you know. Oh, look at that! That's the test we were working on today. Oh, look at it. It's all passing there. Not passing on my computer. I've broken things. So you're asking where to write the test to check to see if it's an ordered active list of projects in the form, right?
Hi, Matt, you're saying something.
I said you were looking at where to add that test to see if it was an ordered active list of projects on the form.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe that place that you were was checking the alphabetical thing. I think maybe that is checking on the form. You know?
Where is that?
It's on the create event, yeah. So there on that alphabetical one, you go down. Yeah, no, go down. Go down. Go down. Go down. There on line 80. So yeah, you could like add in between 80 and 81. You could add that well, I'm not sure. Is there projects at this point? I think there are, no? There's EDX and website one, yeah.
But do we have their status?
Huh?
We don't have. Okay.
Yeah, so we have projects. We have just active projects. So you might need to do the same exact thing you did before, like you add a couple projects that are inactive, and then add that line there and see if that's testing what you think it's testing, you know? I mean, it might be better to give it a title and or a description that makes it easier for people to understand why you're creating that project. Because like, I mean, I guess it's not difficult to see the status, you know, but then the person has to actually, you know. In this way, you can look at it and you just read the title and you go, oh, okay, they created this. They created this because they wanted to check some, you know. I guess the description, you have to add a description because it won't pass the validations if it doesn't have a description. But yeah, I'm not sure what else you what else you need to say, you know.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
I never learned in Adam how you can like in VS Code you can just do like Control Shift and down, and it will it will move the cursor to where you can kind of hit tab just on all three lines at the same time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I never figured out how to do that. And yeah, you can do it if you do like Control Shift and then you like hit the cursor. Yeah, but it's more difficult to do that than it is in VS Code. VS Code, you just do the down cursor, you know, instead of doing like actually needing to click on the mouse more than in more than one place, you know. But anyways. That was pretty fast. So apparently the commit count can be blank, yeah. And then you're going to create a closed one as well.
Yeah.
Cool. And then how's our test? Still running?
Yeah.
Um,
It's now maybe all past.
oh, nice. So where's that that line of code that step that you wrote?
It should be in the event steps.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's easier to copy from the feature though.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Either way, I guess it's
So
there it is. Line 56.
that was in the. Where should I paste it now?
Like you should paste it in above that alphabetical thing. Dan, did you see? I was just looking at that that feature file, and there's a bit of code in there that could be refactored in the same way that you did your homework, where instead of saying then I should see this, 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 it like have one step that I should see the following.
Yeah.
Or then I should see whatever and all active, or I'm not sure exactly what it's testing for, but like there's like
upcoming events thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like checking. Yeah, I don't know. It's checking a lot of instead of hiding that from in the feature file and putting it into the steps and iterating over it and checking one by one. It's like, copying and pasting the same thing like 10 different times, but just changing the string.
Yeah.
Oh,
Where is that?
it's
Show upcoming events.
Unable to find project ID.
Yeah, so if you go to the form, they probably call the dropdown something different, has a different ID. So if you inspect the dropdown ID,
So
then
probably I need to
event project ID.
Okay, so probably I need to pass the name of the select item.
No, I mean you need to change the ID, right? So if you want to use the same step, which would be a good idea, then instead of writing the feature in the way you wrote it, you can write it to where the person can pass in the ID of the dropdown. Yeah. And then you can pass it in differently from one page to the next and use the same step definition.
Yeah, so here I'll have this, then
well, yeah. No, I don't think that's probably not. It's called events project ID.
It's called, this is the create page, right?
Yes. No, it's not the create page. Yeah, it's the new form. Yeah.
This is a new
form. Yes. So then if you right click on that, it's called like events project ID. Event project ID. Yeah. No, ID. Yeah.
Okay.
But like you probably wouldn't want to pass it in where you're looking at, because yeah, it doesn't really make sense to pass it there. You would need to say like it would make more sense, I think, to say then and then like quotation marks. No, that's not quotation, yeah, and then paste in that, and then take off the, yeah, then you can take off the projects drop down, I think. Yeah, okay, you are like that, yeah. Could be like that, yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, that probably makes sense. And then now update your regex and your other feature accordingly, you know.
So this I will need to have regular expressions. Here you come again.
Woo-hoo! Regular expressions.
I don't know. Now, what do I do here?
So that you'd need like a capture group, right?
Like so?
Yep. Exactly. And I think you probably don't need a space between that hat character and the. I mean, you might want to put a the, like, and the blah 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 drop down. Should only have, I don't know.
What's the?
The, like THE.
Like?
THE.
Okay.
Yeah, but not capitalized. I mean, I'm not sure, you know, like it might be better to say the drop down with ID, blah blah blah, but I think it's okay like this. Like, I'm not sure. What do you think, Dan? And Mike?
The drop down with I think
It's better.
yeah, that works.
I mean, it's probably splitting hairs, really. Because like you have the ID has the actual name. Like it seems like the ID has, in the cases we've seen so far, has the actual ID. It says like blah 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 ID, but
So will I need these?
so what is this project ID? Yeah, exactly. Nice.
But these will come quotation marks as well.
Sorry?
Will this come with quotation marks as well? This select ID, given that
it'll turn it into a string. Well, yeah, you don't really need it, I don't think, because it's already a string.
Yeah, because I'm saying, where is that step? Oh, where is that feature? Man.
Yeah.
So these quotation marks here, do I need them?
Yes.
Yeah, if you're.
Well, I guess
it depends on how you write the matcher,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean the way you've written the matcher, you need the quotation marks.
Okay.
And it's typical to use the quotation marks when you're passing in something that's going to be a variable that's going to change, you know? like that's going to change based on like where you're using, like where you're writing the feature. So like you can see, I should see blah, blah, blah before blah, blah, blah. So you might use that in lots of different contexts. So that's why you normally see it within quotation marks. So the person can add whatever they want inside of there. And it can be more than one word, for example. It can be multiple words.
Yes.
Then, but then, so I was saying like, if you go back to the step definition.
I can't see my steps.
Yeah, so like the select ID is already a string, so it looks like you're taking that string select ID and then interpolating into another string. I don't think you need the quotation marks and the hash in that string interpolation. You can just do within select ID, right?
Yeah, maybe, but I think that like that other hashtag is like to let it know that you're saying within the ID that's with this name. Because you could change that to a period as well, and look search within some like a class.
Right. Yeah, that hash is that's like the CSS. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, gotcha. Yeah, you need that.
I mean, we could try it without, but I think you might need it.
No,
I think it's
I think you do.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. Like if not, then you could just say within select ID. But yeah, if it were like, I think the way that within works though is you might need to have quotes.
Yeah.
Because like even if it's something that you're like the user can see, like for example options or something like that, then I think you still need to pass it in quotes, for it to for that. Yeah, I don't know.
Do I run it?
Do you notice, Mike, that like on like if you look on line 432 and 433, like they don't no for 32 and 33.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, like they don't use spaces in between the pipe characters and the variables.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of convention, like it's a little confusing because you do use it for on curly braces, but for some reason for pipes, it seems like you don't. I don't know. I'm not sure why that's the convention, but that's the convention,
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to give you something else to remember.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep. Do I go? Yeah.
So now you need to modify your feature files, right? To match that new regex that you've created.
I think I already did.
Did you?
Not here though.
This one you didn't, and the other one you modified, and then but then you modified the regex again. So, but fix that one first if you want, since you're here.
So it will be easier to do.
I agree. That, and then yeah.
The ID.
Project ID.
Yeah.
So maybe run that test on line 54 and see if that passes.
Okay.
Because that one we know was passing before. Come on, slow running tests.
I thought it would say that it didn't find them. Okay.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Alright. And now what about that create?
This line
Yeah.
82. Event project ID.
Yeah, you don't need- oh, yeah.
She's happy.
Event project. $82. And hopefully this will pass. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully this will pass. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Yeah.
Nice. Cool, man. So I'm gonna call it a day. And I guess you probably have maybe one more place or something like that you wanna put that, but yeah, it's looking really good. Like I would encourage you maybe even to push up your code, or if it's easy for you to like find the other feature. What was the other? There was another one that you could probably add it to, right? It was like the edit events feature or something.
Yep.
So that's the views.
So there is create event feature. Then
Events. Yeah, so there's edit future events, edit past events. I'm not sure,
yeah, we don't even have active or inactive projects.
Yeah, that should be all the index page, right? Upcoming events goes to the index page.
Yeah.
I mean, it would either have to be edit future or edit past events, or maybe you don't really need to use. I'm not sure, like because you're kind of testing the same thing. Because like the other one was testing something different because you have like two different drop downs. This is actually testing kind of the same thing because you have the same drop down that's being rendered because it's the same form. So you might be able to make the argument like why do you even need to? I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
I think I would probably push it up and then just try to come to the scrum tomorrow or and we can get it. If not, then I can talk to Sam and tell him that this is kind of getting to the place where I think that added some tests and extracting logic and is looking kind of good. I mean, I guess there would be a way to refactor that collect method but I'm not sure. Like I think maybe not because of the specific way that it it's returning what it's returning. So I don't know.
Yeah, and also maybe just to ask this, like this feature that we've developed, is there a way we can add like the aspect tests aside from the cucumber ones?
I mean, I don't think that like you can add RSpec tests, but like they would be. I think what you're trying to test is like what the user sees, right?
Yeah.
So then that would be like more like that would be more like a acceptance test. Like you probably could make some sort of tests like if you want to do a unit test, like we kind of use our spec for unit and integration type testing. So that would be like testing specific methods, but you haven't created any methods. You've used a scope that already existed that may or may not have tests for it, and under the hood, that scope does nothing more than a database query, like return an ordered database. Yeah, it returns a database query. So then you would be kind of like testing to see if database queries work. And I guess there's probably already unit tests somewhere. Not necessarily in our project, but I think database queries are something that we don't really need to be testing, Like we might want to be testing that actually when we go to the page, we can see the things that we think we can see when we return like the data from the database query. But I'm not sure we need to be unit testing like the where method.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
So
I think
you've done a good job.
It gives me a little bit of understanding on the BDD aspect. What to test when. Yeah.
I mean, I'm still learning that as well.
Yeah.
Like I've got some broken tests that I don't know why they're broken. But yeah. Hopefully find out this week. I think it's going to pass by really quick this week as well, because I mean, I was supposed to do a feedback form as well for people to be able to give feedback on the sprint, and Sam started it actually, and I just need to finish it, but I don't know when I'm going to do that,
Yeah.
I really have to admin,
What I noticed is that people don't really like filling forms and
no, not really. I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea behind doing the sign up form in the first place, came from like, I guess like there was in the local support, there was a lot of people who showed up the first day, and then after that they didn't show up again. And then so it was like kind of trying to understand why that happened. And also like the idea that maybe if people like actually, take the time to fill out a form and like, hey, I can help out on these days or these hours, that they might be more likely to actually like see that as some sort of a commitment. But then that's not necessarily true, that like, and I think like, I think we had a lot more success with people getting involved, contributing for the website one sprint, but that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the form. Like, I don't think it actually does. I think it's more because there's like more issues to work on, and there's like, it has a little bit higher visibility than local support. So I'm not sure,
Yeah, we all use the Agile Ventures website, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like one thing that people, I think that's one of the reasons I really like helping out with it. Like the local support's cool, but like it's, I mean, you're helping other people you're helping people in like a small borough in London find volunteer opportunities. Whereas like Agile Ventures site, you're like helping people all over the world to be able to learn coding, so it has a little bit more appeal, I think. But yeah, like anyways, I think I like the form because like it's good to be able to. I like the idea of like a lot of people said they would be willing to help with like helping to organize the like for it to be sustainable, like it, and for sprints to be like not only sustainable but organized and in such a way that like we can get like a lot of people involved doing the things that they want to do, which is like I just want to be able to come in and like have clear issues that can be worked on, and they're like actually documented well what needs to be done, and I can just go kind of pairing with somebody and working on it, and then putting in a PR and asking for a review. Like for that to be sustainable, like we need more people helping out with like the organization of it. So yeah, it was good for that sense. But even having asked for the feedback on that, like if they're not steps taken to actually engage people and people follow through on that, then it's kind of like just asking people for the sake of curiosity, because yeah, I don't really want to make it kind of a huge part of my job to be like doing paperwork. I like doing coding, and so I don't know. Anyways, like I need to maybe get on that feedback form, and then there's like a week. We have a week where I can try to contribute to other projects like RFM and local sports, and I still need to do a lot on NHS and stuff. And then it's like the week's gonna pass by like this, and then it's gonna be like Met Plus sprint already, So it's gonna be pretty full on, I think.
Med Plus.
Has this been going on like so? It seems like recently y'all started doing the sprint one week and then other stuff like every other week do a sprint. But is that like going to be like a regular thing, or is it just like for a few weeks? Like there's a sprinting season right now going on.
Yeah. The idea is that we're going to carry it on, but like the thing is there's so many different factors, I think like as of now we have a Met Plus sprint, and then we have like 2 weeks after that, or we have NHS front end sprint, and then after that like Sam has another vacation or has something else, I don't know, that he has planned, so he's going to be kind of like, I don't know what's going to happen after that, but I think he likes the idea of being able to have time to have a dedicated week working on one project, because you potentially can get more done than when you have like you work on something like we do with the mobs, kind of where you work on it just once a week for 1 hour, and then it's like you end up spending like 20-30 minutes trying to like remember what you were even doing or what the issue was and all that kind of stuff before you even actually do anything. So I think green tests. I think the idea is to carry on doing it, but I guess it would depend, like there has to be energy for it, like, and I feel like I can do a good job with that, but yeah, we need to see how it goes, I guess. Rake VCR, Billy Cash's reset. VCR _ Billy _ Cash's : reset. No space.
Oh, no space.
No space.
You do this before a commit, or like before a push or something?
Yeah, like it's good because I mean you don't have to, but then you need to like specifically say get add this, get add that. Like Mike still has his Docker and Compose changes that he's like holding on to instead of adding them to his .m file for some reason. But like if he didn't have that, then he could just do get add all after he cleans out the cache. Then he could just say get add all, But Mike likes to hold on to those Docker Compose YAML files. Don't show everyone. My eyes.
I'm sorry, man. Sorry.
Sorry. Who's controlling the broadcasting? Is it you, Mike?
Oh, but oh my God! It's been focused on Matt's machine.
Oh, really? Oh, shit. Well, that's good. I guess that's better than it, for showing the M files, but it's not good for the video because people can't see what we've been doing. All right. Well, I'm gonna go. You know how to push and stuff, but yeah, like I mean, it would probably make your life a little bit easier if you just added those to your M file, or maybe you have added them.
Yeah.
In that case, like you probably don't want those. I don't know what changes you would have to the Docker Compose. The Compose YAML. I think it was just those that you were setting the I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And
All
I
right.
will see you guys tomorrow.
Mañana. Okay.
Well, hopefully I see you guys tonight. If not, then I'll see you later on.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
All right, Matt. See you soon.
See you later.
Yes, mate. Thanks.
And guess
So
I'll go too. We're
yeah,
pretty much wrapped up, right?
it's been a long day for you as well. I saw you studied it off earlier.
Yeah, we got started a little bit earlier, but yeah, it was good. I'm still just kind of like barely even beginning to well, I still don't understand anything about the project, but it's
Yeah.
kind of like a huge code base. So
Yes. Which is a little interesting.
yeah, it's really interesting. Like I've never worked with this big of a project. So
Yeah. So maybe the only disadvantage is that we don't do something from scratch.
yeah, but we have the course for that, so that's good. We have like on the weekends we kind of do something from scratch, and then not our own thing, but
Yes.
yeah, it would be nice to do our own like project from scratch, kind of like see how you would design it yourself if you had the opportunity.
Yes.
But then you have to figure out what to work on yourself. So
Yeah.
that'd be interesting.
Mhm. So I think I'm just gonna make these changes.
Yep. What time is it there?
Yeah.
What time is it there?
30 minutes to 11 o'clock in the
All
PM.
right.
Yeah. Are you like 8 hours behind?
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Uh,
2:30 p.m. here. So
yeah. 2:30 p.m.
yep.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. What
9 hours. Oh wait, no, it's 8 hours. Yeah.
what time did you wake up for the for the website one thing the other day?
We started at like 9, I think. 9:30 actually. 9:30.
There's this day you're on the scrum.
Huh?
There's this day you're on the scrum. When you are saying you needed to leave for work.
Oh, in the scrum, yeah, that's like the scrum is at 5 or 6 a.m. 6
5
a.m. I think.
Oh my God. 5 a.m. I'm
It's
still
6
asleep.
a.m. Yeah.
Wow. Just
So
wow.
it's early. Like if you look at the videos where I'm in the scrum, it's like I look like I just woke up because I did just wake up just before the scrum.
Mm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Dude, you're strong.
yeah, I can't make many of those, but
Yeah, I know.
it was worth it just to
Just to join in.
join in it every once in a while.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, man. Well,
Yes.
have a good week.
Yeah.
I'll probably see you next weekend then.
Go to church. Nice Sunday. Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
See you tomorrow then. Oh.
All right,
Thanks.
or whenever.
Yeah.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Yeah.